There is a black stick the size of your finger. You can make it in your backyard from a piece of scrap wood and a campfire. It costs less than $2. And when you drop it into a glass of tap water, it begins doing something that a $400 reverse osmosis system, a $70 Brita pitcher, and a wall of plastic cartridges at your local hardware store were all designed to do. It pulls the poison out: chlorine, pesticides, herbicides, volatile organic compounds, pharmaceutical residue, PFAS. The forever chemicals that a 2026 Environmental Working Group report confirmed are now present in the tap water of 176 million Americans. 176 million, and the device that removes them, the oldest water purification technology on Earth, is not inside a plastic housing with a subscription plan. It is not sold in a box with a QR code that leads to a monthly cartridge delivery. It is a piece of carbon, burned wood, charcoal. The same material the Egyptians used in 1500 BC, the same material Hindu texts described in 400 BC, the same material Japanese artisans in the Kyushu region have been firing from Uba-Maymok for over 400 years. It has never been patented, it has never been improved upon, and it has never stopped working. But a $48 billion water filtration industry would very much prefer that you never learn how it works. Because when a $2 stick of charcoal does what their $400 machine does, the machine stops selling. And when the machine stops selling, someone loses a quarterly earnings call. So they hid the stick, and they sold you the machine. Until now, before we talk about the solution, you need to understand the problem. Because most people believe their tap water is clean. It is not. The Environmental Working Group maintains a national tap water database that covers nearly 50,000 water utilities serving over 270 million Americans. Their analysis has detected more than 320 toxic substances in United States drinking water systems. Not 3, not 30. These include PFAS per and polyfluoralkyl substances, synthetic chemicals that do not break down in the environment or in the human body. They are called forever chemicals because once they enter your bloodstream, they accumulate. The United States Geological Survey confirmed in 2023 that at least 45% of the nation's tap water contains one or more types of PFAS. By 2026, the EWG updated that figure to 176 million people exposed. Your tap water also contains chlorine and chlorine byproducts, disinfection chemicals added at the treatment plant, trace levels of pharmaceuticals, antidepressants, hormones, antibiotics that survive the treatment process, pesticide and herbicide runoff from agricultural land, volatile organic compounds from industrial discharge, and in older infrastructure, dissolved lead leaching from corroded pipes. The EPA sets legal limits for some of these, not all, and legal does not mean safe. It means the government decided a certain concentration is economically acceptable given the cost of removing it. That is the water you are drinking. That is the water you are boiling your pasta in, brewing your coffee with, and filling your child's cup from. And the industry says the answer is a plastic pitcher with a disposable cartridge that costs $18 every 2 months, $156 a year. For a device that uses the same material, activated carbon, that you can buy for $2 and use for 3 to 6 months without replacement, the pitcher is not the technology. The carbon is the technology, and the carbon has been free for 4,000 years. Now let's open the mechanism, because this is not folklore. This is physics, and once you understand it, you will never look at a charcoal briquette the same way again. Activated carbon works through a process called adsorption, not absorption. Adsorption. The difference matters. Absorption is when a material soaks something up like a sponge. Adsorption is when molecules chemically bond to the surface of a material and are held there by van der Waals forces, weak intermolecular attractions that trap contaminant molecules in place. The reason activated carbon is extraordinary at this is surface area. A single gram of activated carbon has an internal surface area of 500 to 3,000 square meters. 3,000 square meters. That is the area of more than half a football field packed into a piece of carbon smaller than your thumbnail. The EPA confirms a typical range of 800 to 1,400 square meters per gram for water treatment. Grade carbon. This massive surface area is created through activation, the process of heating carbon to extreme temperatures, typically between 600 and 900 degrees Celsius. In the absence of oxygen, then exposing it to steam or chemical agents that blast open millions of microscopic pores in the carbon structure. These pores are what trap the contaminants. When contaminated water passes through or sits in contact with activated carbon, the chlorine molecules, the pesticide molecules, the VOC molecules, the pharmaceutical residues, they are drawn into those pores and held there by the surface chemistry. The water passes through. The poison stays behind. The University of Nebraska. Extension confirmed that activated carbon filtration effectively removes organic compounds and chlorine from drinking water, and can also reduce lead, dissolved radon, and many other contaminants. The EPA identified activated carbon as the most studied treatment technology for PFAS removal. A Duke University study found that activated carbon filters remove 73% of PFAS contaminants from tap water. Purdue University Extension documented effective removal of chlorine, moderate removal of some heavy metals, and strong removal of organic compounds. This is not theoretical. This is measured, published, replicated across decades of peer-reviewed research. And the carbon that does it can be made from coconut shells, hardwood, bamboo, or the leftover charcoal from a campfire. The archive opens at 1500 BC Egyptian papyri. From that era document the use of carbonized wood for medicinal and water purification purposes. The Egyptians discovered that charred wooden posts placed in the Nile did not rot. The carbon was antibacterial. They began placing charcoal in clay water vessels to remove taste, odor, and visible impurities. By 400 BC, ancient Hindu and Phoenician texts described filtering drinking water through charcoal. Sanskrit medical writings prescribed carbonized materials for both water treatment and digestive ailments. In Japan, a form of ultra-high temperature charcoal called binkotan emerged during the Edo period, the early 1600s. Artisans in the Kishu region of Wakayama Prefecture fired ubamoke at temperatures exceeding 1,000 degrees Celsius in traditional earth kilns, then rapidly cooled it. The result was a charcoal so dense and so highly carbonized, up to 98% pure carbon, that it could purify water simply by being placed inside a vessel. No pressure, no housing, no filter cartridge, just a stick of carbon sitting in a pitcher of water, silently absorbing chlorine, organic chemicals, and impurities through passive contact. This method is still used in Japan today. You can buy a binkotan stick for $5 to $10. It lasts 3 to 6 months. Then you boil it for 10 minutes, and it reactivates for another 3 months. Total annual cost under $20. Total waste generated 0. The spent charcoal can be crushed and added to garden soil as a soil amendment. In 1785, the German chemist Johann Tobias Lowitz became the first European scientist to formally document carbon's purification properties, demonstrating that charcoal could remove impurities from water and other liquids. By the early 1800s, carbon filtration was being adopted by European cities for municipal water treatment. 4,000 years of continuous use. Documented on 3 continents, confirmed by modern science, and yet the product the industry sells you in 2026 is a plastic pitcher with a 2-month cartridge, containing the exact same activated carbon, marked up 400% and wrapped in a subscription model. Follow the money. The global water filtration market is valued at $48.1 billion in 2025. The United States water purifier market alone is projected at $17.3 billion. The home water filtration unit segment reached $21.8 billion globally. The dominant business model is not selling filtration. It is selling replacement cartridges. A Brita pitcher costs $20 to $40. The replacement filters cost $18 each and must be replaced every 2 months. That is $108 per year in cartridges alone. Some households run through more. Some models require proprietary filters that cost more. The annual cost of cartridge-based home filtration for a typical family ranges from $60 to $200 per year, depending on consumption and brand. Now, compare that to the alternative. A 1-pound bag of food-grade granular activated carbon costs $2 to $5 online, placed in a simple cloth pouch or a reusable mesh bag inside a glass pitcher. It filters water through passive absorption for 1 to 3 months before needing replacement. Annual cost $8 to $20. No plastic housing, no proprietary cartridge, no subscription, or a single binkotan charcoal stick. $5 to $10, lasts 6 months with one mid-cycle reactivation. Annual cost $10 to $20. Generates zero plastic waste. The filtration industry does not sell water safety. It sells convenience and branding. The activated carbon inside a Brita cartridge is chemically identical to the activated carbon you can buy in bulk for a fraction of the price. The housing, the plastic, the proprietary connector, the brand name on the box, these are not filtration. These are margin. And here is the deeper issue. The bottled water industry, valued at over $350 billion globally, is built on the same fear. Fear of tap water, fear of contamination, fear that the only safe option is a sealed plastic bottle shipped from a factory. Americans consume over 15 billion gallons of bottled water per year. 85% of those PET bottles are either thrown away or end up in the ocean. 11 million tons of plastic waste enter the ocean annually. A $2 charcoal system threatens both industries simultaneously. It makes tap water safe. It makes bottled water unnecessary. It makes cartridge subscriptions obsolete. And it does it with a piece of burned wood that you can manufacture in your backyard. Here is the method. It takes less time than ordering a filter online. Option 1. The simplest version, buy a 1-pound bag of food-grade activated carbon coconut shell or hardwood from any aquarium supply store, health food store, or online retailer. Cost $2 to $5. Place 3 to 4 tablespoons in a clean muslin bag, cheesecloth pouch, or reusable tea infuser. Drop it into a glass pitcher of tap water. Let it sit for 2 to 4 hours. The carbon passively absorbs chlorine, VOX, pesticide residue, and organic contaminants. Replace the carbon every 4 to 6 weeks. Annual cost under $15. Total plastic waste, 0. Option 2. Bincotan, buy a single stick of Kishu Bincotan charcoal. Rinse it, boil for 10 minutes, let dry. Place it in your pitcher or water bottle. Leave it permanently in the vessel. It filters continuously through passive contact. After 3 months, reboil to reactivate. After 6 months, retire it to your garden. Annual cost, $10 to $20. Option 3. The DIY emergency filter. Take a clean 2-liter plastic bottle, cut the bottom off, invert it, layer the following materials from bottom to top: a piece of cloth or cotton at the neck, a layer of fine sand, a layer of crushed homemade charcoal from any hardwood campfire, another layer of coarse sand, and a layer of gravel at the top. Pour water through the top. It drips through the layers, each performing a function. Gravel removes large debris, sand removes sediment, and the charcoal absorbs chemical contaminants. This is the filter design taught in developing nations, used by humanitarian organizations, and documented by the World Health Organization for emergency water treatment. Total cost essentially 0. One critical note: activated carbon does not remove dissolved minerals, bacteria, viruses, or fluoride. If your water source may contain biological pathogens, as in untreated well water or surface water, you must also boil or UV treat the water. Carbon handles chemical contamination. Heat or UV handles biological contamination. Together, they cover nearly every threat. So why was this hidden? It was not hidden in the traditional sense. The information exists, it is published, it is available, but it receives no distribution because there is no profit motive behind distributing it. No company earns revenue when you drop a $2 bag of carbon into a glass pitcher. No brand grows when you reactivate a charcoal stick by boiling it for 10 minutes instead of ordering a new cartridge. No shareholder benefits when you build an emergency filter from sand, charcoal, and a plastic bottle. The information was not suppressed. It was outspent, buried under $48 billion of marketing, packaging, shelf placement, influencer partnerships, and sponsored search results. Every time you type "how to filter water" into a search engine, the first 10 results are paid advertisements for cartridge-based systems. The charcoal method, the one that costs $2 and has worked for 4,000 years, appears on page 3, if it appears at all. That is not censorship. That is economics. And economics is the most effective form of silence ever invented. So let's close this vault. There is a material that has purified water since 1500 BC. It has been used on 3 continents. Documented in Egyptian papyri, described in Hindu Sanskrit texts, perfected by Japanese artisans, and confirmed by every major university and government agency in the modern world. 1 gram of it contains the surface area of half a football field. It removes chlorine, pesticides, herbicides, pharmaceuticals, VOCs, and 73% of PFAS forever chemicals from ordinary tap water. It costs $2. It generates zero plastic waste. It requires no electricity, no subscription, and no proprietary cartridge. And it can be made from a piece of hardwood and a campfire. A $48 billion industry sells you the same material inside a plastic box at a 400% markup, wrapped in a subscription that generates $150 a year in recurring revenue and millions of tons of plastic waste. The charcoal was here first, it will be here last. And the only thing standing between you and $2 water purification is the fact that nobody paid to put this information in front of you, until now. If this vault opened something for you today, share this video with one person who is still buying plastic cartridges every 2 months. Subscribe, hit the bell, because there are more vaults to open, and the next one is already waiting.